Yeah, water.
We don't need it. Cool. Thanks. How you holding up?
Fine.
Okay. So, first of all, let's talk about just shooting here in this hotel. Is it kind of a kick for you? Have you ever done anything like this here before? Or?
No. I really like looking at the where you walk up and check in. It just, you can just see the ghosts everywhere because there's all these empty slots and you just feel like they were constantly filled and unfilled and filled and empty. It's fun to see. I really see movement there when I look at it. It doesn't look vacant. And, you know, this is an abandoned building for those watching who don't know, but you can, it's like looking at a chessboard or something where there's movement even though the pieces are staying still. And that's what I see when I see where all those keys were supposed to go. It's really, I think I should take a picture of it before I leave.
Yeah, yeah. Does that add to the vibe when you're in a place like this? I know you've recorded albums in hotels, and you guys have kind of situated yourselves in cool places. Does that add to what you're doing?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the energy of the place, is the energy that fuels you while you're doing what you're doing in it, whether it's recording music or whether it's performing in a video. It's the energies around you that are getting inside of you and moving you. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll make a pretty pretty ghost oriented video. You know, I hope it's like I hope it's filled with the energy of ghosts.
Do you enjoy the performance aspect of videos? You've done a number of them. Do you get a kick out of doing the work, doing the performance part of it?
It's fun. It's always surprisingly tiring. I'm always like, okay, this one I'm not going to jump around too much, and then I go crazy. So it's but yeah, it's a lot of fun. The performance part is really fun. I especially like it when I'm doing it with the other guys in the band. When you're by yourself, it's a different feeling. I mean, I can do it, but it's extra exciting when there's people to work off of.
So talk about this song. This song's going to be on this greatest hits, going up against some of the greatest hits. Is that daunting, putting a new song together that's going to be on an album with the best of? Do you think about things like that when you're compiling this stuff?
Yeah, we think about everything, but we were contractually obligated to give them 2 new songs, and in my opinion, we didn't even give them the best 2 songs of the session, but one of them was the song they wanted, and they said they only wanted to release 1 single, so we had to take the other song that we thought could be a good single, and we're going to save it for our next record, and we just put a song that we feel is a great song, but at the same time couldn't be a single, because they only plan on releasing 1 single. So that's the way that worked out. I feel fine about it. I mean, these days people put greatest hits on. People put extra songs on greatest hits just as a selling point to people who already have the rest of the material. But we also put some other nice things in the package, like pictures that are great pictures that I haven't seen in 10 years, you know, or good pictures from the whole history of my being in the band, and so those are nice, and there's some liner notes that Flea and I wrote, and those are nice. I wrote a little about my experience with radio and the different ways that it's been important to me throughout my life, and at the same time advising people to find out about music in other ways other than the radio and other than TV, you know, like asking cool people what music they like, or you know, buying records because of the cover, or finding out who the musicians you like what musicians they like and that sort of thing.
Do you enjoy the process of looking back? Seems like you enjoy those processes of being able to do the liner notes and look at the photos, but doing this kind of forces you to kind of look back over the years. Is that enjoyable generally, or is it something you don't tend to do normally?
I've gotten past the point in my life where I'm looking over my past. I think it was probably all I thought about around just before, a few months before I joined the band again. I was very bitter about the past and very regretful and very I so badly wanted to live in an alternate fate to the one that I had developed for myself. I wanted to live in a fate where I had made different decisions earlier in my life and where things would have winded up differently. And I wanted to be that John Frusciante, and I didn't want to be the John Frusciante that I was. And as soon as I joined the band, as soon as I joined the band again, I started to all of a sudden get this feeling like this was the fate of the John Frusciante I did want to be, and I had always seen all these pictures in my head of the way my life could have been, and all of a sudden I was realizing, wait, those pictures might be the way things are going to be. They were the way things are going to be, and at that point I started getting pretty excited, and we started writing all that music for Californication and stuff, and for me, ever since that experience, I stopped reflecting on the past. Now, if I do, it's just in a nostalgic kind of way, like seeing these pictures. Oh, that was a fun time, or whatever, or what an asshole I look like in that picture. I can look at it a lot less. I don't have to be so serious about it. I can look at it as if it was what it is, a past which can't be altered, which is, before I used to always think of the past, I used to try to figure out ways of changing the past. And I actually spent a lot of time trying to do this. And now I just do my best to do what I can to make the future good, and by do what I can to change the present in a good way, and to always try to do something different and surprising.
And make some of the best music of your career. Put into words what you think the chemistry is, you four guys, and why this works so good, if you can, as to why things are better than ever, it seems like, for you guys.
Well, we just have a good thing together, It's not the kind of thing anybody really understands. But it's the kind of thing that when you appreciate it, and when you really see it for what it is, you just feel really thankful to be in that position of being with three other people who you gel so good with, and there's really not much you can say about it. We all are very different as people, and we all aren't afraid to be ourselves, and I think it's a big part of it. I don't think you could get this kind of musical chemistry in a situation where one person is dominating the other people. It's got to be a situation where each person feels free and comfortable to be themselves, and to follow whatever paths of ideas they get. The other people make it possible for them to see those things through, and to me that's the sort of thing that helps keep things going in a situation like this. We're definitely not perfect all the time, but on the last album I definitely had times where I felt like very separate from everybody else, and where I might have been dominating situations more than I should have been. But you live and you learn. At the time, that's not what it felt like. But looking back, I think I was being a little too headstrong. but I come by it honestly. My father was a little Armstrong. My mother was a little headstrong.
But that led to a lot of personal.
The Headstrongs married the Armstrongs.
There you go.
And darkies were born.
But a claim for you personally, where people were saying so many good things about your work, from the vocal harmonies to your guitar work to your writing, a lot of it directed towards you. How much of that did you appreciate, where people were kind of singling you out and saying just how much you contributed to By the Way and the new music?
At the time, I didn't really agree, but looking back, I guess it's true. Looking back, listening to it, I can hear that, especially because of the large amount of backing vocals, that you notice me a lot on it. But I think Flea probably wrote a lot more than people imagine he did. You know, I think we still wrote half and half as far as the music. I'm not sure. I've never added it up, but you know, I think he wrote a lot more than people think he did. Yeah.
That's all we got. Oh, okay. I need you.
Back onto the white couch.
What's the white couch in it today?
I was on this couch earlier for,
TV?
no. Oh, yeah, MTV Europe.
Oh, that's cool. All right.
Did you vote?
Hell yeah.
You voted.
About 10? That's cool with everyone?
10 minutes, okay. Do they need me? If they need me,
Yeah, he just told me 5, but it might not be a real 5, so go ahead. And
but call me when they're ready to go, because that's,
Okay, great. Just let me know.
yeah.
Whatever you need. Keep it painless. We're good. Okay. First of all, just sitting here in the Ambassador Hotel, talk about shooting here and what this is like for you.
Well, this is a damn beautiful building. Just look around, the carpets, the wallpapers, the staircases, the wood, the coconut grove. It beats the hell out of a trailer in a parking lot somewhere. So we were all pretty excited to show up here this morning. Reflect on the joyous history of LA with Sammy Davis, and you know, some of the sadder occasions also with the loss of Kennedy and all.
Yeah.
But what a great location. I just walked around the building. It's all fallen apart and overgrown and beautiful and sunny, and I feel like a kid out there. Yeah.
You guys get involved in that? Do you care about preserving like landmarks like this? That's something you care about? This will tell me go anytime they say, you know.
I heard they were turning it into a school. Care, yes. Actively involved in the restoration, not as much as I could be, but I always root them in. When I hear that, like, De Niro's on the board to save the theaters downtown. I mean, because you go downtown, Broadway has some of the most beautiful movie theaters ever. Yeah, I'm all for it. You know, save the old, beautiful architecture.
Talk about this video you're shooting today. I haven't seen you guys doing anything yet. What's behind it? I haven't even heard the songs. What are you guys up to today?
Well, it's called Fortune Faded. They asked us to record new music to put on our greatest hits CD that's coming out, and we're always up for writing some new songs. So we wrote a bunch and then chose a couple to put on there, one called Save the Population, and then this one called Fortune Faded. A Frenchman by the name of Laurent, who's a great artist and hasn't done a lot of videos that have been seen in America yet, had the idea of using sort of a derelict space, not unlike what we're in today, and having someone break in, having security guards chasing him, but never being able to find him, kind of, you know, Shining meets, you know, cat and mouse chase. Shining meets Itchy and Scratchy. And then, you know, we perform and are part of the whole kind of, we're more part of the texture and the ambiance than we are the story. You know, the gratuitous performance, if you will.
Yeah.
No.
Talk about having the song kind of match up with the greatest hits. Is that a daunting task?
sorry, guys, you're getting hailed. But
Okay.
Oh, getting hailed. Can we pick up?
going somewhere else.
Oh, there's a form. 2 weeks. It takes 2 weeks.
They let me get away with something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you swear you're not voting anywhere else because election day today. Sign this, give us a driver's license.
Oh, then I might be able to squeak in a second vote. I'm voting no. I'm voting no and Gary Coleman.
There you go. We're good.
Quiet on the set, people. I'm just kidding. Hello. Oh. Hi. It's a good day when I see you.
What do you say?
It's a good day when I see you. That makes it a good day because I saw you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show Uncle Tony your Barbie.
Oh, I see the Barbie.
Ooh.
She got a name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say Barbie.
Barbie, quite simply.
It's Barbie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you do today? Did you go to school?
Yeah.
What did you do to school?
Are you getting pretty smart? Having fun? Getting some ABCs together?
Did you do some painting?
I'd like to see those paintings when you're done, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see your work.
Some water. What else? What else did you paint today?
Did you paint whales?
What's with that?
Maybe she saw Sling Blade or something.
I don't know.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Sweaty.
Sweaty.
Small for age.
She's 10.
A rare,
2.5. 2.5?
2.5.
Can I have a kiss, please? Thank you very much.
I had a daughter 5 weeks ago.
wow.
Congratulations.
Wow.
What's your name?
All right. And you're
Olivia.
like awake, sort of.
What's that?
I want to know if he's tired.
Oh yeah, kind of.
Kinda. Yeah, that's
Hanging
it.
in.
You're right in there.
Yeah, it's the best, but yeah, tired.
Of course. Still.
It's
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
It's not in
Wow.
Yeah, Tony.
You guys too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
How's it going?
I have faith in our director,
Yeah.
but you know,
Not fast.
no. Be here at 9 and
I heard John hadn't did any shots like
he was the first one here and he was the last one so far to do a shot.
Talk about that actually. How used to this music video thing are you? This is kind of like old hat. Do you enjoy the video process?
I like old hats. Do I enjoy the video process? Well, on a day like today, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's usually fun. It's a really kind of a good job if you can get it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really ever get old hat if you're excited about your music and you find cool directors and things to create. It's a great opportunity. You always have the short-term memory situation of forgetting how kind of taxing the day is, but not to complain.
You're going to be unleashing a lot of videos as part of this package
Right.
on the public. Do you have certain memories of video shoots that kind of stand out in your mind?
Yeah, off with the leash. Certain memories. Well, we have a strange affinity for the French when it comes to finding directors, and I will never forget the time Stéphane Sidnel-Huy, whose idea always is just to go to the desert. It's like, we need a video. He's like, let's go to the desert. We need a new concept. Let's go to the desert. It's got to be totally different this time. We'll find it in the desert. But we were all kind of standing around, and he said, physician. And we're like, what? Physician. And we thought he was saying the fuzzy sham. Everybody get the fuzzy sham, and we just didn't know what a fuzzy sham was. Turns out he was saying assume the position, which meant get in your spot there, not a... And yeah, that was a memory. I think the best video we ever made never got played. It was for a song off Freaky Styley called Catholic Schoolgirls Rule. And it was directed by Dick Rude for $300. Very racy, very beautiful, very rockin'.
Looking back at the videos and the songs, do you guys allow yourself when you're a project list where you have to go back and choose songs? Are you more nostalgic than you normally would be? Do you like looking back at stuff? You guys are always kind of looking towards the future normally.
Trying to just look in the moment on a good day. looking back is kind of nostalgic, and it's it's emotional, but it's also kind of like, wow, we did a lot together, and we made a lot of colors, and we had a lot of fun, and did a lot of hard work, and it's that weird. It's like when it's your birthday, and suddenly you become Mr. Introspective. What have I amounted to? What have I done? Where am I? Where am I going? It's kind of like that when you're doing the greatest hits thing. But yeah, we are definitely more excited about what we're doing now than what we did 13 years ago, and we feel like what we're doing now and about to do is actually better than what we were doing before. We feel like we've gotten better at what we do, and feel like we have about 1,000 more songs to write. So.
And people are recognizing that fact. What's that like having people, fans, critics, everyone saying you guys are better than you've ever been?
I thought I was the only one who said that, but it's just good to be rocking heavy in the mix today, and I think we're all very grateful for that. But we all understand why, because we care so much about music at the second, rather than what we did before. It was like it was good, but now there's so much more to get into, and it's a chemistry thing. We're together, and everybody goes off and does their research and their development and their inventorship, and then we come back together and we have all these weird parts and pieces, and we start putting them together, and it's pretty cool.
Where does the drive come from? Knowing you have the chops still, and you guys still are creative, or?
It comes from chemistry. It comes from God and the universe and the mysterious cosmos, and all of the mundane elements of everyday living all put together, with hormones and chemicals and sadness and happiness and joy and failure and frustration and sexual demons and all this kind of stuff kind of all gathers up for the ceremony of practicing and improvising and finding good, true, hardcore bits, even if they're soft and slow.
You guys all agree on the songs? You guys have a general idea of what you guys all want to do?
Well,
Discussions about that kind of thing?
in the end, we do all agree, but it's the process is very argumentative, and there's clashing and disagreements, but it's more just for show than for real, because I think for real we all know when something's good and meaningful and lasting, and eventually we get around to the core of that, but along the way we like to spit and kick our feet around and act like baby Hueys, but it's just for fun. Yeah.
How would you define kind of the way your band's grown musically over the last few records? Because it's been said a lot from other people, but how would you define in terms of the growth process?
It's a ding-dang natural progression. It's not really definable for me because I'm not great at analyzing progressions like that, but it's very natural. We're still in love with being a team, and it's all really born from improvising and from we study away from each other just however we do that. Having a baby or not having a baby, or breaking up with a girlfriend, or learning how to surf, or whatever it is, and learning about experimental music and music that was made in the 30s and music that's being made today in small holes in Germany. And then we all come together, and it's really about the improvisation and not about discussing it or deciding where we want to go, but just getting together, jamming, and seeing where that goes. And it usually goes someplace that feels good.
Playing for audiences now, how is it different from the past? Because you're in the middle of a tour right now.
We're at the tail end of a tour.
Yeah.
It's great. I think when I listen to our live recordings, they're really a lot more emotional and kind of in the pocket than ever before. It's when John came back into the band, we did Californication. That was such a learning process. It was great, and we got inspired, and we had fun, and we rocked. But it was learning all over again how to be a band, and now we're kind of, we've tightened it up a little bit, and there's just always room. There's room to experiment, in general, yeah.
How much do you enjoy your own celebrity, or not enjoy it at all when people follow you and what you're up to and who you're seeing and that kind of crap? Is that something
Right.
you pay attention to, enjoy? Is something you really bothers you, or?
Well, I mean, I guess I'd be lying if I said I hate it at all, because it's great to get Laker tickets, and kind of all of those sort of perks. You get so used to them, you take them for granted. But take all that stuff away, and I'm sure I'd be like, hey, I'll take that back, please. And I feel also a little bit blessed that I haven't my art and my career are not based on celebrity to begin with. It's just kind of a byproduct of being in a band for so long. I don't think we have a publicist to this day, so we're not out there trying to generate publicity so we can become bigger celebrities so that, you know, people pay more attention to our art. We're just letting the art speak for itself, and whatever celebrity comes, learn to deal with it, you know, as gracefully as possible, and use it to your advantage and to the ability that it helps you, you know, be of service to the world. You know, it opens a lot of great doors. We made a lot of extra money that we could, you know, help people with, and you know, I think that's a really great aspect of celebrity is getting out of yourself and saying, okay, I've got, you know, way more than I can deal with here. Let me, you know, give it right back, because then you forget about yourself and you feel a lot better anyways. Yeah, the paparazzi, the getting followed around thing, the cameras, that's pretty awful, you know, and I guess they always argue like, oh, well, you'd be sunk if we weren't taking pictures of you. That's not really true. I mean, some people thrive on that kind of attention, but I wish there was a far more symbiotic respect going on there, and that it wasn't such a feeding frenzy, and that the media wasn't so based on the superfluous superficials of ridiculousness.
Well said. You mentioned Laker tickets, so I was going to ask you, were you concerned about the season? Are you concerned about trophies?
Concerned, I think everything will be sorted out. If, you know, whatever crimes against humanity you commit or don't commit, the world has a way of atoning for that, of, you know, of making everyone kind of, you pay the price one way or another. If you mess up and you abuse something, you pay the price, whether it's legal or whether just in the way that you're going to have to live your life. And if he didn't do anything, you know, wrong or abusive to someone, then I think that will materialize, and he'll be able to live his life knowing that he didn't do that, and she'll have to live her life knowing that, you know, she did something questionable. I think it'll all sort itself out. Meanwhile, I'm loving Gary Payton dribbling the ball up the court for the Lakers. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see this guy that I've admired but despised, you know, for 10 years as the enemy, you know. But I love him. He's such a cool player. And now I get to see him in purple and gold. And Karl Malone is basically, that's like God saying, get over your resentments, you know. You have to embrace this guy. And I will. I'll be able to, you know, forgive him for, you know, being such a weirdo in Utah, and have just a whole different outlook on life now. It's going to be the most bizarre and exciting season ever. Not necessarily more talented, because the '88 Lakes were more talented. You know, when Worthy and Scott and Cooper and Magic and Kareem, that was the greatest dream team of all time. You know. So I don't think it's like this is some thing that's never happened before, that much talent on a team. But I know that Carl, after, what is his daughter or his sister that won the ring for the WNBA in Detroit?
No, I'm not even sure.
Oh, well, his whenever you're done with that shirt, a family member of his won a championship ring before he did, so now he's driven.
Sure. Wanted to ask you, other LA bands, you kind of started out with the Fishbone guys, you know, Bob Forrest, Thelonious Monster, all these other guys in the same circles.
Yeah.
How much of you guys you still hang out with? You talk about your own success versus theirs, or what's that vibe like?
Oh, we definitely don't compare success. You know,
Stories or...
Yeah, well, we have great stories, and we have great memories, and Bob, you know, is still making great music from Thelonious Monster. He's always involved in a project, and you know, he did The Bicycle Thief with Josh Klinghoffer, and Fishbone have kind of drifted from my circle, but I always, you know, hold them in the highest of regard, and one of the most exciting bands of all time in their heyday, you know, live especially. You know, Jane's Addiction is also kind of a bizarre and beautiful story to watch do its thing. You know, there are other bands like the Minutemen that were probably even more influential on our energy back then, and you know, Mike Watt, the bass player for the Minutemen, he's coming out on tour with us as the opener for our next leg.
Very cool.
Yeah, so.
He's playing with George Hurley as part of this.
Yeah.
All Tomorrow's Party.
Yeah. Love George Hurley.
you guys still seem so young and vital, and the music's better than ever. Do you talk about how far this can go? How many years? How many more records?
No, I don't think we have to. I think it'll determine itself. I mean, we're going to do it probably for a long time. I mean, it would be a shame not to. It'd be a shame not to, because we have so much more work to do, and yeah, I hope we do it for a really long time. It's a great job. I love it. I love doing what I do with these guys.
And the idea of a greatest hits is something you were open to, you enjoy?
Our greatest hits that we did, it's a record contract thing.
Yeah.
You know, it seems a little early in the game for me, because usually that like signifies the end of a band, but for us it's not going to be. It's just going to be something that they said, hey, you got to put out this record now. So we embraced it and, you know, used it as an opportunity to write some new stuff and combine our own stuff, and we'll probably, you know, put out another one in 10 years, and who knows.
And lastly, you mentioned this off camera, but you're sitting here, you're an intelligent guy that cares about California, and you're stuck here in this hotel without getting to vote.
Yeah, but I've got a plan. I've got a voting plan, and I will execute it when you're not looking.
Very good. All right.
All right. Yeah, we're doing that again in a couple weeks. November.
Oh, cool.
November 5th.
That's what you guys were part of that.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. We should get some more of you a little bit later.
All right.